everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I showed you how I created multiple backgrounds using different types of embossing paste. And through the whole process, every time I'd lift the stencil, there'd be kind of a little bit of a mistake on each of the backgrounds. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how I fix those mistakes using various kind of cover-up techniques. So each background is going to be different because they each have their own little mistake here and there. So I'm going to go through each one and then I'll show you the before and then I'll show you the after and how I fixed it. So for my first background, this was a mint green matte embossing paste background that I had. The mint green came from using cracked pistachio distress oxide ink that I kind of smushed down onto a medium matte and mixed with the embossing paste. And I got this really pretty kind of jadeite colored background. Now, the only thing is there is a couple little ridges here that, I mean, they're not bad, but, you know, maybe you don't want to have to see them. So I'm going to try to find a way to cover those up. There's also a couple of just kind of rough spots in the corners here. So we're going to figure out how we can fix those. And I'm going to go off camera, fix it, and then I'll come back and show you quite a bit. So for this one, I basically trimmed away most of the issues. There's a little bit down here, but you don't really notice it. And like I think Jennifer McGuire has talked about this before, it's a handmade card. It's not going to be perfect. It means, you know, you made it with love, and it's, you know, it's going to look handmade. But the design and everything, you know, I think is good. For this one, I used I think I mentioned this in the previous video. I'll show you again really quick. I kind of put together some color combinations to go with my background, and I got ideas through my inspiration folder here. So this was kind of magazine tear-outs, just of different color combinations of pillows and furniture, and I think I even have a napkin in here. You can also use a color wheel, which is helpful as well. You can just, you know, kind of line up, if you're like complementary colors, you can kind of line up the arrows here and find out what goes together for complementary, split complementary, and then you have all the different ways of combining color just by using the wheel and turning it and that kind of thing. So this can be helpful too. But I like the magazine tear-outs because they're quick and easy and you get some good ideas for color. So I combined the mint green with this kind of coral paper cardstock. I thought that looked really good together. And then I did a little yellow cardstock strip that kind of, the sentiment needed something to back it, just to kind of make it stick out a little bit, because using it alone just kind of made it look sort of plain, like it needed something. And so just putting this little strip underneath it kind of highlights the sentiment. And then I just matched up some enamel dots around the side to just kind of draw attention into the sentiment. And then the little panel, I just kind of popped up with some foam tape just to give it some more dimension. And then I left a little bit of a border along the side. So most of these cards that I put together have a more modern feel to them. So in the comments, let me know if there was anything you would change or anything you would do. Say if you have a different style or something. I'd love to hear what other options would be. You know, how you might have hidden some of the little imperfections on the embossing paste. So definitely leave me a comment if you think of anything. So this next background was done with bright white cardstock base, and then glossy black embossing paste. And again, there are a couple little mishaps here and there right towards the bottom. There are these kind of where the color kind of bled a little bit, and then over in this top corner too, and kind of in between these flowers. So I'm going to show you how I fix those. So next up is another modern looking card. This is the glossy black embossing paste. I cut this one down a little bit more because it had quite a bit of kind of smearage on it and that kind of thing. So I trimmed it down, backed it with this bright green. This is called Gamma Green. This is from CutCardStock. I backed it with some Gamma Green cardstock, just kind of adhered down to the front of a white note card. And then popped this up with foam tape And then I added some strategically placed embossing or enamel dots just kind of along in other areas. This had quite a few mistakes, so I did the best I could to kind of hide most of them. But I like the kind of modern look of this, and the orange, green, and the black I thought really made the card pop. So I thought this looked really pretty too. This next background was a periwinkle blue cardstock with the pearlescent embossing paste. And this was actually my best background, and I didn't find any real mistakes on it. Just a couple little maybe uneven spots on the embossing paste, but really this was probably my best one. So let me go show you the after. So this one didn't have as many mistakes, so I didn't really trim it down that much. I trimmed down the edges a little bit just to leave the border again with the white card. I added a little lemon yellow cardstock strip underneath again to kind of make the sentiment pop. And then I added a few clear gems to kind of highlight the sentiment. But I thought this was my favorite. This turned out really well. So this, I think, looks really good. This was the Vellum cardstock that I added silver embossing paste to with the stencil. And there are a couple kind of, well, the whole piece, since it's a kind of a thinner vellum, is a little bit warped. And then there's also some corners where there's some of the embossing paste kind of came up a little bit, and right here as well. So I'll show you how I fix that. So the vellum piece, I backed some kind of a teal colored cardstock too, and I popped the whole panel up on the front of a white note card. For this one, I kind of dove into my embellishment basket and found this butterfly, which I actually want to tuck underneath here. I'll fix that later. I was looking for kind of a bright embellishment to go, because I was using the pink to go along with the teal. So I found this butterfly to kind of add to the top of the sentiment, and then I added another strip. I do a lot of the strips to kind of cover all these things up. A strip of cardstock here, and then a couple of enamel dots just again to highlight the sentiment. So, and I want to show you too, to adhere the vellum, I found that was really handy and quick. I adhered it flat, and I used my Xyron Creative Station. You've seen me in other videos use this. This is a super old version. I got this. This was back in the days when I used to have a crimper. But this is the old version of the Creative Station, where you run your cardstock through this side, you crank it, and out comes the cardstock with adhesive on the back, and you just peel off the top, and you get clear adhesive all over the back of your piece. And that's what I did with the vellum piece here. So you don't see any adhesive in the back or anything. So this works really well for these kinds of more delicate and clear cardstocks. So I thought this looks pretty good. Again, I just kind of trimmed everything down a little bit, and you can't really see much of it. I think this had the most problems when I did the card. So I think that looks pretty good. And then this last background I did with translucent embossing paste. So it's kind of a glossy see-through paste where you just kind of see a little bit of the texture in the back. And the main area where there was a mistake is this bottom part where the paper kind of came up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and fix that, and I'll show you the after. So this one I really like. It's kind of a tone-on-tone white. I got this idea from Laura Basson. I noticed that she has started using a lot of cream-colored card bases and then add, or the other way around, or she would add a cream color card panel to a white card base. But in this situation, I did a linen card base. It's kind of a cream color off-white, and then I added my bright white panel to the top of it. And I kind of like the contrasting white colors. And this, again, I trimmed down quite a bit, but that was kind of my plan all along. I just wanted a little bit of rectangle right in the middle here. And then I was kind of going through my enamel dot drawer, and I had found these that I don't even know where they were from. They're metal. I think I might have gotten them from Michael's or one of those places, but these are actually metal enamel dots. And I thought these colors looked so pretty when I put them together. It's kind of a coppery color and silver and gold. So just kind of combine those together, but I still felt like there wasn't enough on the card. So I went in my drawer and grabbed a burlap heart that I had made a while ago. I just trimmed this out with a heart die cut, and this is just some burlap paper. And I tucked this under just to see what it looked like, and I thought it looked great. It was just like a nice kind of bold embellishment to go with all the all white background. And it just gives more texture, and the craft color, it just kind of pulls everything together, I think. So I thought this one turned out pretty good too. So I hope you enjoyed my trying to fix my card mistakes. It's a lot better than, you don't want to waste, your cardstock and your cards. There's always a way to fix something. And I thought this was a great example of, when you're having fun using maybe a different type of medium, you want to be able to still use the item that you make. So just a few tips on kind of covering up your mistakes. I used a lot of, like I said, any little embellishments you have are great. They can cover up all the little spots. Strips of cardstock put in the right place can really help too, and it can really make a sentiment pop or the background panel pop. And also just getting some interesting color combinations that kind of draw your eye more to the card, like, this mint and coral together, or the green, orange, and black together. Again, let me know in the comments if there are any changes, anything you like to do on your own cards if you make mistakes, how to kind of remedy those with maybe different embellishments or something like that. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in my next video.